let's talk audio equipment. Again, I'm going to take the same practical approach. I'm not going to tell you to go spend thousands of dollars on equipment, even though you totally can. But I don't think it's necessary. And I want to keep this as simple as possible because I know a lot of this stuff can feel very overwhelming. So you're going to need three main components for your home studio. You're going to need a good microphone, right? We're going to talk about that. You're going to need an interface. Here's one that I really like that I recommend. We're going to talk about this. And you're going to need a good pair of headphones. We're going to talk about these as well. Now the other piece is that you're going to need some sort of software to be able to, consolidate all of this that you're recording. It's going to have to go into your computer into some sort of program. So we're going to talk about that too. But the actual equipment that you need, that's it. It's very simple. We already talked about needing a microphone arm to be able to hold your microphone. That's super important. You don't want your microphone to be touching anything else while you're recording. So I guess that's technically another piece. I do have a light that's in my studio, and it's just a very simple, I think it was like $12 on Amazon. And you can just tap it on and tap it off. For me, that was really important. If you're recording in your closet or something like that, you would probably want a mic as well. If you're in your living room, like I was initially, then you might not need that. But something else to think about. I already mentioned in our previous section that you're going to need to be able to attach your microphone arm to something. Now, you can also get a freestanding microphone holder. So you can totally think about that if you don't have something to attach it to. But I like the mic arm that's attached to something because you can adjust the height. You can adjust the angle at which it's coming at your face, and the standing microphones I didn't find quite as adjustable. So, but look at your options because maybe you'll find something totally different that works for you that I have never explored. Okay, let's start by talking about microphones. You can see that I have a Shure SM7B. This is kind of an industry standard. People use it for podcasting and recording. The reason that they use it is because it is a very high quality mic at a very low, relatively low price point. Now, when I first started out, spending $300 or $400 on a microphone sounded crazy to me. That sounded like way too much. If I could have gone back and told myself what I know now, I would have absolutely purchased this first instead of spending $120 on a different dynamic microphone that ended up not being nearly as good as I wanted it to be. So I know that not everybody will have the option to purchase this straight out of the gates, but I would highly recommend that if you spend a little more money on anything, have it be your microphone. So let's talk about why this microphone is great. It has broadcast quality sound, which is fantastic. It gives a really nice natural tone, and it's a dynamic microphone. Now, there are dynamic microphones, there are condenser microphones. You want a dynamic microphone. So I'm going to give you a resource list down below that you can look at. And whatever you end up getting, make sure that it is dynamic because unlike condensers, it picks up less background noise and it's especially ideal for untreated rooms. So if you're in your living room or something, this is an absolute must-have. There's like a little hair on it. There we go. That's so funny. And like I mentioned in my other one, I have this pop filter on top of my microphone. You can really do whatever you prefer, whether you have one here or whether you have this here. I don't know. I didn't like having something in my face. So I like having this over the microphone, and I'll include a link for that as well. But this microphone, the SM7B, it also has built-in suspension shock isolation. And so it reduces mechanical noise and like handling noise. And it also helps isolate the voice from the room echo or background noise. So just an all-around really great microphone. Highly recommend it. Now, the one downside to using, well, it's not really a downside, but just something to be aware of, is that the gain on this microphone, so gain means volume for our purposes right now. It means how loud the signal is that's coming from the microphone into your interface and into your computer. It's very low on this microphone. And so when you purchase this, and I'll put this down below, you're going to need this little buddy right here. It's called a cloud lifter. So the other thing that you're going to need is these microphone cords to be able to connect it all. And I'll include those links as well, but they don't have to be anything fancy. So what I have here is I have my microphone connected to a cord. Here, the cord comes through here, it attaches to the cloud lifter. And then another cord comes from the cloud lifter and attaches to my interface. And the reason you need a cloud lifter is that it produces clean gain. So for our purposes, clean volume. A lot of times when you pump up your gain, like I'll show you on this interface here, we've got this gain level right here, this little knob. if you can see that. That's our volume knob, right? We're going to be turning up the gain or the volume on this interface. And when we do that, it amplifies everything, right? And it can often distort things when you turn it up really high. And so this cloud lifter gives you clean gain before it ever enters that interface, which allows the sound to be crisp and clean, and it isn't picking up a lot of extra junk from your room. So yeah, it provides the clean gain. And let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to say about that. It boosts the signal before it reaches your audio interface. Oh, the other thing is that it works with phantom power, which we're going to talk about with our interface, but it does not pass on that signal, that power to your microphone. And so it keeps any interference out of the picture. So really great little piece of equipment. If you get a different dynamic microphone that I've got on the list, some of them have higher gain than this one, but they also don't have quite as crisp, clean audio. So pros and cons. I know it's a little bit of an added expense to get the cloud lifter, but for me, this combination has produced really clean, amazing audio. So I highly recommend it if you can spend that money up front. And I like to think about it as, you know, if you're going to produce an audiobook, you're going to be spending probably $2,500 to $4,000 depending on the cost of your audiobook. So my mindset was, if I am going to spend, you know, $500 to $1,000 buying this equipment to be able to narrate, then it's less than like a quarter of the cost of one audiobook. And for me, that was really helpful to be like, okay, this is an investment, but it's also like, I'm paying a quarter of an audiobook to be able to produce audiobooks forever. Like, that's amazing. And it felt so much more doable when I thought about it that way. Because initially my mindset was, I don't want to spend any money. And then I ended up having to spend not double the money, but extra money because I bought cheap stuff to begin with and it wasn't great. And then I had to purchase the other stuff later. Totally fine to do it that way, but just know that if you can spend the money, it's going to be really awesome. Now we get to talk about audio interfaces. I did a ton of research on audio interfaces, and this is the one that I came up with. It is a Focusrite Scarlett. Actually, initially when I purchased my audio interface, this was not even available. And so I purchased their old version, which was the Sapphire Pro. It was more expensive than this, and it was outdated almost instantly. It was outdated within about a year. I had to upgrade my converters, 3 different converters to be able to attach it to my computer. So you're lucky. You can start off right with this bad boy. You can see that it has one input right here for a microphone. And then it also has an input here for headphones. Now, this can also be used for instrument recording, but obviously it doesn't have a lot of inputs on it, so it's best for single track recording. But they do have dual track, it does have a line in as well for an instrument here. But one microphone, one line in, and then you've got your headphones here. And it's got the gain on here, which is really nice. So for me, I have my gain up with this, even with my Shure microphone. With the cloud lifter, I still have to up my gain to 7 or 8 to get the right RMS levels. We'll talk about more of that in mastering, because you're going to test all of this stuff when you get it. You're going to test it with the way that you speak, with your setup, because it's going to be different for everybody. But I'll show you how to test your levels to make sure that you know exactly where these things should be set, so that every time you record, you're going to get a similar output. So this one is pretty simple. You've got this little connector here that it comes with, and then you might need to get an adapter. To connect this to my Mac computer, I needed to get an adapter because it doesn't have USB. This is a USB cord, but these are always adapting and adjusting. So you never know, when you go to purchase this, it might actually have a USB-C or a Thunderbolt cord, but otherwise you just need to get an adapter for USB to whatever device you're using to record. And then like I showed, you've got your cord that's going to your cloud lifter or just directly into your interface. Now, why do you need an interface? Because I remember when I first started researching, I'm like, why would I buy all of this extra equipment when I can just get a Blue Yeti microphone that's USB and it attaches to my computer? Hopefully, talking about the microphone, you understand just the increase in quality that you're going to be getting when you're not using an all-in-one. I like to think about it as I'm not going to name a brand name here, but the 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 shampoo, body wash, conditioner combos, the quality of that product is not going to be as good as if you have a really good shampoo, a really good conditioner and a really great body wash, right? I think we all understand that. It's the same thing for audio. If you have a all-in-one microphone, the quality is going to be not as great. If you have a really great microphone with an interface, with great headphones, right? Each piece doing its own thing, then it's going to be a lot higher quality. But why do you need an interface to begin with? Okay, I took some notes so I could remember everything. Okay, you need an audio interface because it is high quality sound conversion. When you are speaking, it is analog sound and you want it to be digital sound that's going to be going through, through headphones. It's going to be like an MP3 file. And so this converts that for you, which is really nice. It also provides that phantom power, that power that your microphone needs to run with the proper connection for your microphone, because these microphones do not connect, these high quality, studio quality microphones do not connect directly to your computer. So that's a pretty obvious one. An interface also allows you to hear yourself in real time without much of a delay. So again, this is where your headphones will click in and you can listen to yourself. We're going to talk about more of that when we actually record. But initially, I was listening to myself every second that I was recording. And I think that's really important when you start off. Now, I kind of have a feel for it and I know what it sounds like when my mouth is smacking, or I'm more aware of just the sounds and the way that my body is moving. And so I don't always have my headphones on when I record because they kind of annoy me. And I like to be able to be a little bit more free when I'm acting. But I highly recommend listening to them at the beginning. Okay, and then it ensures a clean signal to speakers without unwanted noise and hum, which sometimes you can get with those USB connectors. So that's my plug for the interface. I think it is fantastic. And again, it's not a massive investment for something that's really going to increase your quality of your audio. Let's talk headphones. I did a lot of research on studio headphones. There were a lot of great options, so I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I ended up going with the Sony dynamic stereo microphones, the professional version. They're excellent. They work really well. I would highly recommend them. I'm also going to include a couple of other options at different price points, but I'm really happy with these. Hopefully now you understand how all of those things are going to be working together. Again, there are no right or wrong answers. You just need to find the thing that's going to work for you. I tried to keep it really simple because sometimes there are so many options that we get kind of caught up in trying to make the perfect or right choice. There is no perfect or right choice. And I want you guys to understand that you can always change your choice, right? You don't have to use what you started off with. Like I didn't. I upgraded as I went along, and that's totally an option. But at least understanding those pros and cons is super important because you'll know what you're getting into from the get-go, and you'll kind of have a direction of where you want to go next.